Okay, so based on what we watched on the video 2 days ago, can anyone remember what a theme is? Can we define the term theme? Yes, sir. The lesson that the reader learns as they, throughout the book. We'll do throughout the book, throughout the text. Okay, so if you don't have this written down, take a moment and jot this down in your reader's notebook. We should also add that theme is something that we need. I'll keep that a star. We can apply this lesson to real life. Okay, so there are 3 steps to finding the theme, and then after we give you the steps to finding the theme, we're also going to talk about ways to write the theme. So the 3 steps to finding the theme, the very first thing you have to do is figure out the conflict. Figure out the conflict or problem in the story. Okay. Then, after you figure out the conflict or the problem, you look at how the character or characters, how the character changes in the story. And a lot of times, the conflict will cause that character to change or learn a lesson. And I can even write that. The character will also learn. Oh, that's later. I'm jumping ahead. Because here is what did the character learn. Okay, so the 3 steps, and again, you should write these 3 things down. So you're trying to figure out the lesson that we as readers need to learn. So step 1 is figuring out the conflict or the problem. Step 2 is looking at how the character changes. And step 3 is asking yourself, okay, what are some things that the character learned? Okay, I'll give you guys a second to write this down. So we have the steps, we have the definition. One last thing, or 2 things. Theme is expressed through a complete sentence, and it should also, themes should not include character names. Okay, so some of the examples from the video the other day is like, love finds a way, or a true friend will always be by your side, or worry about the things you can change, not the things you can't, or stay strong through the struggles. That's a tongue twister. Or even just things along the lines of always fight for what you believe in. Okay. If you notice, none of them had characters' names in them. They're more of like quotes that you would see on like a bumper sticker. Okay. That is more of a theme, is a lesson, is a quote that you can apply to your life and remind myself, hey, you know what? Everybody goes through hard times, but stay positive and you can do it. Okay. So those are all examples of themes. I'll give you a second to finish writing this down, and then we're going to practice this twice today. Okay, so we just practiced this with La Luna. Now we are going to practice it with a fable, and that fable is The Fox, the Horse, and the Donkey, I believe. Let me go ahead and grab that out. No, we read the, this is different. I promise you it's different. Now, a lot of times fables seem the same because fables use animals as characters, and there's only so many animals. But this one is different. This is an Aesop's fable. So we're going to go ahead and just read this together, and then we're going to figure out the theme of this. All right. So the donkey and the fox, having entered into a partnership together for their mutual protection, went out into the forest to hunt. They had not proceeded far when they met a lion. The fox, seeing imminent danger, and imminent means about to happen, seeing imminent danger, approached the lion and promised to contrive, or we're going to make a plan, for him the capture of the donkey if the lion would pledge his word not to harm the fox. Then, upon assuring the donkey that he would not be injured, the fox led him to a deep pit and arranged that he should fall into it. The lion, seeing that the donkey was secured, immediately clutched the fox and attacked the donkey at his leisure. Okay, let's read through it one more time just so that it helps us understand. I always like to read, especially short things like this, more than once. It helps me understand a little bit more. All right. The donkey and the fox, having entered into a partnership together for their mutual protection, went out to the forest to hunt. So essentially, the donkey and the fox were like, hey, let's go hunt. We got each other's back. Okay. They had not proceeded far when they met a lion. They were still hunting, and then here comes a lion. The fox, remember, who had agreed with the donkey that, hey, I'm going to protect each other. The fox, seeing imminent danger, approached the lion and promised to contrive for him to capture the donkey if the lion would pledge his word not to harm the fox. So the fox saw the lion, was like, forget this. I'm going to turn the donkey into the lion and tell the lion not to harm me if I give him the donkey, right? So the lion essentially betrayed, or the fox essentially betrayed his buddy, the donkey. Then, upon assuring the donkey that he would not be injured, the fox led him to a deep pit and arranged he should fall into it. So then, telling the donkey that he wouldn't be injured, like the fox was still like, hey, we're still homies, right? And he's like, I'm going to lead you into this. Let's go over here. And he kind of, again, continued to betray the donkey so that the donkey would be there for the lion, right? And then, spoiler alert, the lion, seeing that the donkey was secured for him, still took the fox. Because he knew that he wasn't going to lose the donkey, okay? So let's talk our way through this and try to figure out the theme, okay? So the very first thing we have to look at is, what is the conflict of the story, okay? What is the conflict of this story? What do you guys think? What's the problem? Yes. Yes. So two animals, and that would be the fox and the donkey, were hunting and they saw the lion, right? The lion is the conflict. He is the danger, right? Okay, but then how did the character change? Let's think about the fox, because he's the sly as a fox, right? He's sly. How did the character change? How did the fox change? What did he do? Yes, sir.
First, like, he was going into a partnership
Yeah, so he decided, you know what, I'm more important than this partnership, right? He betrayed the trust of the donkey, right? He betrayed the trust of the donkey. He's like, well, I just want to be safe. You can get eaten by a lion. I'm over our deal, right? The last thing we're going to look at is, what did the fox learn? What did the characters learn? Yes, sir. Yeah. We'll say the fox learned that he was also going to get betrayed, right? He learned not to be too trusting. Then the very last thing that we do is figure out the theme. What should we learn from this fable? What, as human beings, should we learn from this fable? What lesson are we supposed to learn? Okay, what goes around comes around is a good one. Can anybody think of other ones? Because remember, there's always possibilities for more than one theme. What's another theme?
possibly don't forget what price cover.
Ooh.
Like the donkey is like, I'll go and start it.
Right. Don't necessarily judge a book by its cover, because the donkey was just immediately trusting, right? I like that one. Don't judge a book by its cover. And even the idea of be careful who you trust, right? There's one. Careful who you trust. Okay. All of these would be really good themes for that fable. Okay. So here in a second, we are going to make this our goal. We're going to be reading our independent books. And as we are reading our independent books, we are going to work on finding the theme. Now, A theme is not something that shows up just at the end. Themes are developed as the story progresses, because if you remember, as we talked about dynamic character, characters start changing at the beginning of the story. They start to learn things at the beginning of the stories. So themes happen throughout an entire book. You just kind of have to be paying attention and think, okay, this character's changing, so what should I be learning about how this character's changing? Or what lesson should I be starting to learn or pay attention for as this character's going through this? Okay? Again, there's always going to be more than one theme, especially in a big book. Okay, if you think about Drama Scrolls Dangerous Pie, there's a ton of themes. Okay, but you have to look, okay, how is this from the beginning to the end? Because if you think about Drama Scrolls Dangerous Pie, he met Mrs. Galley at the very beginning, and she helped him learn to focus on things that he can change and work on. Okay? All right.